Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our mothers, our fathers, our loved ones out there. Mema obi biara akwaba, mema adon so e de Bakari Steve Paris Radio eso. Dwumadie baako pɛ a obiara ɛka ho asɛm, obiara ɛka kyerɛ ne dɔfo, obiara ɛka kyerɛ ne busuani sɛ ɔntena so na ɔnhwɛ bi anaasɛ ɔntie bi M'aware ɛna yɛsan ɛde abrɛ wo ɛnnɛ me ne dɛ. Na sɛnea medi kankan mema obi biara akwaba. Sɛ afei ɛna wɔnya notification a mesrɛ mɛntwɛn so frɛ obi ntɛntɛm frɛ obi na nea yɛstate na 2 weeks ago no last week nso so no yɛyɛ bibi ɛnɛ yɛtoa so yɛde bibi biara ɛbɛba awieɛ ɛnɛ nti mesrɛ wo sɛnea da bia meka no wowɔ nsɛm bisa biara a wowɔ contribution biara just as we always do you send it through our WhatsApp line. Send it through our WhatsApp line and we'll read it for you so nicely. And you know, yes, I brand, your brand could be brave, a cockra, measure somebody could change. Your brand could be brave, you know. Yeah, the BBS just so and 10. Your mom's son and your other second point say, and that day into some woman, I say, and then say, from a warrior, you may be embryo. So please call somebody, sit down, and then watch us or study with us. Getting checkers there at the court at my anchor and in the hotel, make us in a couple on shroud. A central carries a soft winning any of my hook winning now, a casting a couple in shroud. Then I'm a kind and a baby the answer, everybody so. And you know, young cost straight to your papa, your man aquaba, na yen twasso, the kind of whenever you know, Nania, a twasso near that photo. It's Miss Rose say, oh, and send me, said, yeah, and Sana. Your dear topic never too hot. Now you bet to ask your dear question is we work when we know Miss Rowe. Number no 0247 907930. Mrs. Sudium 0247 907930. Found same Vista Biara Efa Honomo or message Biara to Papa Honomo. And one thing, if you want us to talk about something here for you, what I say, what the topic be back up now you're painting M'aware. It is welcome. Put me at the back. Na ya nimpi before ebedi hu komo na o hwa na obetene say na topic ayo be kano e say na enye wo topic na wo de to ho no say open en ho adwenkyere no na ya de ato ho ana ya thinking normal ana says the o asem bi a e kire wo so if you have a story or something a problem bi na po say yem wow na ye solve ya papa e wa hanu. You bring it, you read it out, then he gives you the solution. And you know, that is Yama Aquaba, ever my warriors, and never ministers.
Yeah.
It's the same, and I can't bring it to the bridge. Yes, you would be so.
Okay.
Then I escape was in the young national eggs, and the other one. When you give it to me, sorry. And you know, but I started dealing with interference in marriage. Said stay back 2 weeks ago. Last week, it was and then I don't make you say everybody and then next week the rest of the new topic. And you know, the much yard of Obaa Kunadu.
Okay, and then I'm here to say, and then so what my opinion now, Yabetina, if you get case so, if I say Asidanka, Yankupundi, you know, your dad, your papa, so I say, I also got Miss Yanka, but then I feel the near mammy, you do ever and I reach my seat. I saw for a war, Central Carriage Chapel, United, we be asked, Sentia, Lady Reverend and Asawa, Duodu. Yeah. And of course, meet up for government hospital. Now, when I meet one show, said all kind, you shall say Kasa Efa interference, how to deal with interference in marriage. Yeah, you know, yeah, can't be near. So last week, discussed some of the causes of marital interference. Yeah, you know, also say some of them, no, lack of maturity, lack of trust, lack of marital standards were some of the examples I also last week. me gidi say the egu so a ye kona no obi bia behwe ye bia no say ware ya odi bi be ye futuo na say obi a waware so no nchesha ye de ma wa hanom no obema no apply won na ware mu say wan hwe ni yi na say wan ma wen di sa nsema ye ka hu dwuma nsinso so ho na eno echi no you will live to regret it. You know, when you begin to see some of the signs now, and then you begin to deal with some of those things. You know, they happen without the person not noticing. Say, I didn't say because some of these signs, you know, should be unsure and you're likely to be me when it's yeah, and you know, right from the beginning, you know, said the person, you know, from the Garden of Eden, you know, said the third party, no better more to me convincing one party against the other. Any other now figure okay, in some transfer, it actually buy. You know, you may think say, oh, as for me, me, I am enjoying it, and I say maybe it is favoring me, you know. Yeah, you're but in some transfer, it affects everybody in the marriage. It's a your cofa or how they buy any day or Timu that now, and also yes, hanging now. It affected them from the beginning. You know, say you now Adam Moka say, Radiamia, your banner didn't mamma, no. Obana so say Radiamia, your one. You see, then you begin to shift blames and all that. And it's because they didn't deal with the third party or the third influence effectively. Nti no say the egu so aye church mo na no we say na e ma ni ba ye ho so na obi bia o hwe ya no tie no say wo aware mu na say wo relationship mu a o say ma we ni da ho say the be ya as these little things creep into the marriage, you know, you will be alert na am say na wi so na be ka say me hu yanka. Yeah, so yeah.
If you know, for the let's move straight to our question. Right, how would you know there's interference? Like your relationship, then your queen, then I'll be on say, like signs being done out there. Okay. You bet to have red flags being
red flags are the
yeah. Also, you're careful.
Okay, so there can be so many signs I bet me show, and I say, and no man would bet me identify. There are so many of them. We'll try and limit ourselves to just a few for the sake of time and all that. No? One of the things that who said there is marital interference, and there is interference in the marriage, you know. And he said when couples can no longer take major decisions without involving a third party, okay, anything they want to talk about, you know, I just say will be them. It's a clear sign, say. The marriage, you know, is not independent on its own. Now, it's saying that, you know, does not also mean say, yeah, sometimes, you know, you may have the need to consult, okay, to consult. But when it becomes a habitual thing, let's say every time Biano, take a decision, Bia, just say yeah, and I mean answer. Then it means there's a problem in the marriage. Even sometimes, you know, the two of them, you know, may even decide, say, say, but afterwards, you know, I didn't bet you know now, or say, Bako could be another person, and so now, and you know, maybe those who die fear never from M'aware3. Okay, M'aware3. I just saw consult M'aware3. M'aware3 beat my bed, my beat my Obaa. So I just saw consult M'aware3 answer. Sometimes, you know, even say who take a decision, you know, couples need to take a decision. That's a man consult M'aware3. M'aware3 could be between your foot. Say, I don't know, now who could say Munko sit down, one can't me. Then it tells you say there's a problem. So you say you too kind, one can't me. And I know now Mutumo Bani Dinko, a man be besame. Man can't tell me a dear man for man. There's a problem. Yeah. So some of these things, you know, you may think say and you be no, it gets to a time when Casabon Safety. I don't know, it gets so serious. After you feel obligated. Say, Bibia and also share that person. You know, so sometimes it's good. It's good when you need ideas and all that you consult, but you don't consult all the time. You are supposed to be a mature person. It's not where you. So when you're mature, that you don't enter into marriage in the first place. And he said, oh, you are in a marriage and you cannot think on your own. You cannot take decisions on your own. There are some of the decisions that are very critical, and you may need a few advices. You know, sometimes spiritual decisions and all that. You know, maybe you may need a spiritual person to guide you and all that. But it does not mean after that, no, you take no. Sometimes, no, you may have to after say onipana guide no. Even the normally is the man of God or the pastor. The pastor should be matured enough to know that these people are supposed to be left alone to marry. It's maybe be now you poke your nose into it. I say, how number some person more than then a man can't share me. And a man yes say, you know, then sometimes I'm sure you penna and then maybe before. So it is important say couples should be able to make some major decisions on their own, without the interference of a third person or without a third person coming into it. So I saw one video of a very great man of God in the United States. You know, he was teaching on how couples should be matured in their marriage. You know, and he mentioned say sometimes, you know, the people you always take your issues, you know, is most of the time, you know, one of mine, yes, if your makume no be receive you. After say, I can't say me in area, you know, any other no in your chair. You see that kind of thing. So yes, they will be able to watch them quotate in the panel. Anyway, you know, who come pamo but who can now so it's not as if so the panel really, no, the person cares about what you are saying, you know, so much anyway. But don't mean pamo, you know, or bit. But one or quite will share some there. So you should know sometimes, you know, even when you are communicating or you are telling your issues all the time to people, that is the truth. You say, no. What's that about? You know who call anyway. I think you call now, but again, I say again, you see, that is how the devil works. You know, Obaa we saw Obaa and say, "Nyankopon ka say." You see, so from the other side, no, nipa no krampo, obi onoma, the person is so interested in your case. A person who you cause all the time. You know, and then channel now, when that you say then, I can't then. It will be a 1 year matured, no. You know, I start taking answer. Now, could you say then? Now, you show so
particular nano courses,
or be very and some no. You know, that is how the devil got the information out of Eve. Now, when Uncle Poma catch it or say, you are now. So, Uncle Poma can know who be a farm bank. So, if you don't know how to handle these things, it becomes a problem. And your ability to take major decisions as a couple, no, is very important. And sometimes, you know, the beer and also beer to be baby, maybe beer and also beer home, any idea. So that is what some of the psychologists are saying. Sometimes you have to keep the hard work. You work behind the scenes. When the results come, then you show it. You see. So the beer, no, so for no so problem. Maybe also for also for BTB, also for the carry. Maybe no first of all comfort. So because emergency account here, that's that animal. So you should learn to be independent as couples, so that you limit interference in the marriage. Yeah. Now the second thing is what you would use to identify, and I say yes sign. How the Behuni said, sometimes, you know, when the couples have issues, they cannot solve it on their own unless other people come in. See, or you say they can resolve the issue. And you say you could feel big dumb. And you say third person in the car. And you say baby so for the car. And you say me mommy the car, me papa the car. And you say me work for not now while you know you find one chance. You know it's a clear sign say that marriage, there's a lot of interference in it. It's one of the signs. You can no more resolve conflicts among yourself. Maybe our formula in terms akasa about mentem na say mummy no betimi atena say yentena senia yen solve your problem. No, you realize that one party, either the woman or the man, no, why so stiff neck on per se obebu go na ho. Why bare betwe asem ni mo akopem say obi beti asem ni bi. So asem no obi mba mu ye pa dia yen solve it. You see, it is a clear sign of interference in the marriage. So if you are a mature couple, you should learn how to resolve conflict among yourselves. Because be I need what down for now, there are some no command no. It may seem as if you are down for. Into the car or try so or being. But maybe be an in the but it's the same issue now or the bro and as much as possible, no, you should try to resolve your conflict among yourselves. If you cannot resolve it and you always need a third person, if it's a clear sign say there's interference in the marriage. Yeah. Now when one party, either the man or the woman, always feels comfortable discussing issues with an external party rather than the spouse, it is a clear sign say there is interference in the marriage. Issues be up. But if there's a third party outside that we need say be a pass as it, but to be who for one thing. You say be or your project be to quite example, because business trip about. But the details of it, there's a person outside that we need. So when people begin to feel more comfortable discussing their issues with third parties rather than their spouses, it is a sign that there is interference in the marriage. So, your wife or your husband should be your friend, if not your best friend. So, your best friend, one of your best friends here, when you marry for a long time, you realize that your spouse should become a friend to you. Anytime biana, so be young person young and I say young intimate, and I say bibisa. There are times you may have to sit down and talk about issues, laugh at each other, play with each other, and all that. Maybe when you went to work, how was work, and all that. We discuss. You see. I've come to realize that by experience. A lot of people and yes, that is not how they really are. They have people on Mokoko. They don't prefer anything from the either say, when you pan on in the room or in the wire, no, if you don't know, but or do the fufro, what I say. It's because the media, or will be or don't know, or no crock on the fire. It's no, who said sometimes that people are or no one they are so raw with their partners. If I say they are so raw with their partners, when you say they are cocoa or bar, when you say they are no bar casa, on one year crampono, on any monk more, on any agro, not that anyway. But who other people are so nice, who be that? Yeah, so that it tells you.
Meaning, Papa, or no, if you Say area obey ska say a 10 cities or year. Obi send the baby move. So come
on, you show pa.
Obi bank. Now Shiana. Obey the amount. Odrufia said 10 cities was the better one more. It was.
There was an issue, I think a few years back, concerning a certain couple. Yeah, a woman complained to me, say, "Papa ni fifi," and because they are solving issues in the marriage over and over every time. Yeah, we have to solve issues in the same marriage. The man no quite sorry, but Obaa no of course sorry, you know. You pay you 2 in the morning, I call you. And you know, one of the complaints of the man is say, Obaa ni wiano. Obaa ni wiano. I found a way to discuss issues with the woman involved. No, I said, who I say, yeah, we are. Papa mi wiano. Yet, you say, Okoji ni pia. That's your konomo sa. Otimi issue sa obeba be du fie no. Ne scan ni asa. Nti no say okonomo nsa no afese ni biansi ama na. Scan ni na obeba be du fie. Ebedu be 3 days no. We want so onyi sta ofie. On hwe nkola ofie. Obaa na ebo no homodin eni ade. Na o wakoye sa nyoma ni nyina na wo yi sta no fi ni botom na di sie ma na. Later ni so tino. Na so di sta no ma na say man ka so ye kofo. Also that na ko no.
Yes, Obaa ni iska no dey
no.
Eni so tete no o ye say bia na e won ho ne sana.
So bia no kita be 2000. And wakoye show sa na ka be 500 cedis.
That is Obaa na tam.
And Obaa na tam ya to baby. It say ade china say on the 500 cedis ni mana. Onim kwanya of pass so 2000 na be 500. So atiche ni na. Obaa no won say fancy kama no. Also that dey too. It no na abeda ni ntokwa. Ombe ko si ni fa sika mi ya ni. O si da bi da 2000 na so ni botom. Nti so na yi 500 ni dia. Ya ka no wo fabra. Na aya.
Yo we nyina so wo so na wo za
o. Nti kwa na yese Obaa no krampo no.
O sande bre no.
Akofo Obaa bi on fama. On fama ukra anyo senye ade cha woni me bi asika na fa. Nti no sometimes when it happens like that you know any issue of prefer say obefre another person obefre old friend obefre obedu abontin obefre be medu abontin to discuss the issue with them, but you're more comfortable with that, so obe discuss it rather than the spouse. It means there is interference in the marriage. Yeah, so that is the third part of the whole thing. And then there are sometimes one of the clear signs of interference in the marriage is there is one of the couples feels obligated to report all the time to a person outside. The one carpet. The last week here can be said, sometimes it gets so serious to the point say even the third party no wa bontino. The one can the echo so wa man chena. Like I say, so wa or the after John can was someone tell me. It means that person is always wishing say anka okra the no man koyema. But you think on the moment or be your person and answer on the moment or dream, that's not the truth. One person feels obligated. That is why you say look no and then you need your peer no phone, no afraid that person. No sister you. They say one can no no. Then what are you doing in the marriage? Means your level of maturity is suspect. If you are under obligation, you feel obligated. Say, I was so reporting on issues in the marriage. Oh yes, sir. You are allowing third influence into the marriage, or a third party into the marriage, and gradually it will get to a point that means nothing in common. Yeah. So it's one of the clear signs that obligation. People feel obligated. They feel under some level of compulsion or so all the time. It is a one car. ne ho ntɔ no also kasa ekyire obi ansa na ne ho atɔ no be report it even to the extent that say bi a ɔne ne kunu hyia yɛ ɔne ne yiri hyia fa sɛ deɛ kɔɛ I'm not for report you. Why report you? I say people have time. People have time for obi a ɔyɛ kɔnkɔnsɛni bi a ɔmmerɛ o ɔyɛ waste ɛbɛrɛ nkɔde bɛyɛ bibi papa no ɔbɛtena ase a sɛ ɔbɛti obi a ɔware mu asɛm ɛbɛrɛ no ɔnware yɛ ebi koraa nso ano ɔware nso ɔno ankasa na ware nso nhyɛ dan yɛ papa bi a nso de bi a ɔbɛti obi deɛ ɔti a ɔde yɛ den so when people feel obligated na they want to report on issues all the time. They want to talk about their marriage all the time with people. It shows clearly say there is a problem in the marriage. There is interference. The earlier they deal with it, the better for the marriage. Otherwise, the marriage is gradually driving to the ditch. And then the one very, very serious aspect of the interference now one of the serious ones for the science let me say when it gets to a level the couples they don't mind to discuss their partners with a third party. They can say things about their partner and discuss their partner. Some will even insult their partner to other people outside. So original terms. No to me you chop money. Or no any papa febia. People discuss their partners like that.
Now Obaa be making up with you. No supernatural. So a year be bound so I know something.
So also funny say we are not good to know. And you see, ask yourself, so the panning you have been made before we in the near day. So maybe before we near there, so good to know. So by we or your bar. You come my way or your bar. Yeah. Where your bar? I saw you. What is your corner? As you look, you are mountain by up. Hello, darling. What a shock. If there is anything like that, you feel comfortable discussing your spouse, discussing their faults and all that. Well, most of the time, the reason why it's here, you would continue to stay with your spouse or your husband or your wife, they have something positive. Your spouse will not always have negative things. So if you are always talking about the negatives with an external person, then you are destroying your marriage. Okay. So what will be discussed here? Discuss the positives. If you can negative, make a can work a positive. So no, where your bar or come pay Jari on pay Jari. About meet Netflix 4 days no Jari. You see, now to me, you are not going to be of fear or what are you trying to achieve?
The one who now go
so maybe I now some pay, So there are things people say. People say talk about things. So make look with the many Jew and then so we could 20 seconds. Oh. You can say this one to your friend.
Oh.
So you see the kind of things people say, and they discuss their husband. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to achieve? Sometimes, when people start behaving like that, then it means they want sympathy from a third person. Okay. Maybe the man will go and complain. To get the sympathy of a third person. So you see, it's the opposite sex. And sometimes a man also complain it's in all Kenya, he wants the sympathy of the man. We couldn't manage of money. on Shankolano, so that the man who will be a no money. And now the man who will be no amount be no, what are you trying to do? Into no nipa no only again, papa. Hey, Obama Stana Wakaseko. No. So the kind of things that you say, no, it opens you up, it opens up the marriage for external influences to come in. You see. So what do you imagine Eve in the garden? Say Oba or one by no say, then in Yamekai. So that just say found. Yame asem more kind of catch me ra. And no we ra, many me and Thomasem into a farm home bench. Look at Uncle Beckrasso. We say when you welcome. But because he opened up and started talking about things that were pertaining to instructions given to them by God, no, the enemy was able to convince them. You see. So it's easy, you know, one of the weaknesses of every woman is that they are easily convinced. Or baby, I'll casabu na suma na so de na suma wa. After the gradually, no go say na or then attention now. It's no the more kasa no. Or more attention and as you see the can say gradually no, they begin to get closer to you or they draw up to you and you know it's easy to manipulate them. See, you know, and then now nipa ne can one will say nipa na sem no can you are not comfortable with it. Maybe onya frope ukunu asem no pese ono ka. Ukunu nye onye papa onye say maybe no ano pese ono ka. So you know we a sensible woman or a wise woman. You should know say baby at the end corner. If you say as things go on like that no gradually after the ukunu kan fani die man. Because of the things that onipa no tabu assume all the time. Yeah, there. You know we should be careful how we discuss our partners with external people. Okay, because uko ka asem ni share obi wa bontin a ye den a obeta wetu because one time we share no say on kan bi nti obeta wetu sometimes you even the oka no obi oye badwen bakura be kase no men kase fa oye ho sa men kase fa ukunu ho sa oni ade but instead say onipa no ebe twaje afi no o kebi gum na so wa ye ho na oka ade. You know that person is not going to help you. So we should be alert. Be in a relationship, you know, to be alert. That is why it is important. Say you watch before you choose. You know, one now could you you get yourself into some of these problems. I think there nanka be exchange. There are people like that. Oh no. Or should be there no friendly there no with the Minyayanka. It's more acquisition. You know, be ingestion. What will be one acquisition? One or two, what there? Mario be little bit money again now, and as we are, I'm a pay. Little bit of you or dinner to her, kill her. The cable out for all woman, and I'll see we are a pay. No, also fish last mommy, and also fish last summer. It's your children, oh, the country say after the Miana make kinds of wanted one sister mammy. I so be funny, dear man, no. You know, once you make the choice, you should be prepared to stay by it. And you know, say, see, in the marriages, no, it's not likely, say, you have a perfect human being. No, there's no perfect wife. There's no perfect husband. Okay, it is how the two of you know, and to see a woman come out, you are prepared to make each other better. And in a better, oh, when I got married, let me do the BI, let me staff me. Let me staff nurse, let me rotation nurse, I may be staff nurse. So I didn't know anything. I didn't know the kind of this position I was here by the grace of God. Let me leave a BI. See, but at the time, no, Anka, able to make us say, Ukraine, uni on who into meanwhile. See, but You know, it's the same thing with her too. No, so do baby, do baby. But you know, and we're prepared to make each other better. And you know, think I said, you go school, but all the explanation color. No. You see, if you are able to build your spouse up, it helps you. Okay. And you know, so when you now see piano kakaka, also could be, you know, the koba, also koba kubra, kakaka, and you know, because they just said the dear quiz custom. That's you know, you come more and use this. Until koba, then you also wait. No, koba. Gradually, you build each other up. You see, so when it happens like that, you know, a boy, our you know. But if one of them will say, "Semen kwa me ko," so that's in a fear, I bet in a fear. But if you do baby, there will be a lot of pressure on you. You see, so that under normal circumstances, we back no see back once you know see once you are 2 cedi. But if you do baby, no say one baby or spouse up, we 2 cedi now. That's the pressure that also. So it's important say you build each other. Anyway, one person goes, the other person is stagnant. You run into a problem. That's where you find yourself wanting. And you start looking for help outside and all that. So, here kind of silence, you know. Let me sound this disclaimer. Say, I'm not saying, say, Ubia, and I say, seek guidance, and I say counseling. That's not what I'm saying. Ubia, we assembly actually also, and I say, person could be mad in Telebi. That's not what I'm saying. Say, all the choir, why no. But where you make it a habit of always allowing people into the marriage and all that. No, that is what we are talking about. When you can easily talk about it with your spouse, but you still want people to come in and all that. That is what we are talking about. No, it's true. No, even some of us talking about sometimes you need counsel from maybe senior men and all that. So you go ahead and ask for guidance. You ask for counseling. It's necessary sometimes. You know, and you can say a cost for a persistent, habitual. I say the baby now or so for and I say when the panel crampo in your ready cry, you want to insist, you must send by force. You see, that is what we are talking about, say no dear. And you know, don't talk about your spouse consistently with somebody, a particular person. Oh yes, sir, you are selling, you're a sellout, you are selling out your partner, and then you are selling out the marriage. You know, the person will not have respect for the marriage, and gradually, you know, the same things you are saying will come back to you. Okay? So it's important, say, you keep the integrity of your marriage. Don't talk about things pertaining to the marriage consistently with people. It's very, very important. Okay.
Very, very important. So please, on cast there, or they was them for giant. Now, the year a trail, so no, on cast is the only of this one a body. When it happens, that all the time, you wish to talk to somebody about your marital life or marriage, relationship, yes, you know, thing the say only affinity, own friend and now bisano, own friend and now country, and own friend now j the beef in one no man. Watch out for the red flag. Papa, I'm answering your last question. So the questions, name, contributions, send them if you have them, please send it through our WhatsApp line 0247907930. And I said something that if you have any problem, you want our father to help you solve it, or you have an issue that you want an answer to, you can also send it, and then we would ask him, or we will read it to him, and then you will have your answer right here on M'aware3. If you have any topic you want us to feed here too, you consider that your topics, your lined up topics in now, but the esan se muni ho a yen timi na tina ha no men kasa bibia se no ye say ye dem so den ebem if you have any topic that you want us to talk about too, you can send it with the same line 0247 90 79 30. If you fire just our red flags na what catching instructions what bang and na that near me you know have it yeah.
Okay. Since I saw the in fact, bebree kwa ya bobo bobi so in our discussions. You know, one of them lack of respect. Lack of respect. So once there's a third person in the marriage, so the idea is that there's an alternative. After cry, me me ankasa, me ankasa cry, me no kufo. Say me yeah. Odi. I won't say that you know. You know. Oh no, yeah. O say yeah, nyama ko na say o twa. If you walk around no at fault. Anka or patroma asumdie by anka. But when you say there's a third person,
if you can another part in the club say let's talk about it.
Let's talk about
but
it.
Or what alternative
because there's a third person in feel so you realize that gradually respect is lost from the marriage or from the relationship. Because no man kasa fa ho. When you be crying na kasa. When you be na ko kama sem. When you be cry ko tongo ni so. Ono ko mesen. Ono ka onya time mami. Uni time and the man attack. And a man so of attention we nya. Now there may be a good digger. So who say we need attention? A bit more attention so that you begin to feel say maybe our spouse and our partner on the crowd on the that is not the truth. Because you see the kind of things that you go through with your partner. There are a lot of people they cannot go through it with you. So that is one thing that a lot of people should be aware. Maybe once a while we know the panato tilapia be M'aware3 ato bibi nambi anase wato enyome bi anase provisions be abroad anyway. It does not mean so also yes and no, but maybe under the circumstance the person may try to show say maybe or something or something that is not the truth. The truth of the matter is say unu kunu say na say M'aware nyina yeah one if you cry ya job worry that person that's say why you better say there be na so onu say o ya discuss kunu external baby nti so o worry na the same thing abeye no na so we discuss o yele nya dey say you udi oyira tema wa external no any idea so you said that you be doing attempts nti no enya bia ebeye onipa no kwa be decide so be worry then secondly no even if the person decides say M'aware3 that no it's not going to be forever. In effect when you now baby no ukunu solve more issues na motina siboko okay you see. So because of that there will be lack of respect in the marriage between the couple because if I can discuss you with anybody making you do whatever will be making you can the negative side the one of the responsibilities of the couple is to cover themselves up. Okay, you don't expose the person. Any idea is the reason why in here Obaa any bema ewohodoma enye bibia na wo say oboso. But you see things that people don't know. You know things that people don't know. And you are supposed to cover them up. You are supposed to help each other. So, Obama or Honoma. So one thing that happened in the beginning of creation, and it said, when Yankopon iyi, Bema no infant padie bako, and or the Obano. Now, it means in creating the woman, when Yankopon create a gap, or create a certain vacuum, and as a space, a Obano, Bema no infant. Now, when the woman now becomes one with a man, like I say, wabe feel it for no. into that weakness now what beman honor obana be failing. So one of the major responsibilities of every woman is to cover the weakness of the man. Into be share honor no case now Onyankopon create you in order to make the woman a fail. It's now the weakness, no, that gap, no, any hope. If you are married to a man and you are rather exposing the weakness of the man, you don't know what you are doing. You don't know what you are doing. And you know, because the woman, no, is just made out of just one bone that was taken out of the man. That is why the Bible says the woman is a weaker vessel. The man, you know, in the chest of every man, no, you have 12 bones. 12 bones, no. Out of that, you know, on the back of it. Naturally, no, Obaa is weak. That's what I feel. You know, Obaa is weak because he came from one bone. And you know, in all that, no, even though one bone, but no, or cover the weakness of the man. So it means that Bema no be protect your Obaa because he is weak. Now Obaa is not protect Bema because no be feeling that weakness. No. Okay. So a mutual thing. You have to protect the woman has to protect the man. But when you see in a marriage and then ubia adiano kwampo no impie but no person of faith mo no yipi so we dey menyaw ese me kai no ono aba fifi mo no nko se de be ya obetimi ja beto abonten no akasa se me ka se be ma no se me kai Obaa no se me ka se Obaa no you see. But if you are doing that, you are not mature. You don't know your place in the marriage. So you should respect each other in so much such that you don't allow people to just infiltrate into the marriage. It means you respect each other. If I respect my husband, you will be a keken. I'm a man. I can't be kunwasem. What I say, you know, so Obaa wife for okay to say you can't kunwasem, then you're pleasant and you are happy with it. Oh problem. We all company on a work what is almost 1 hour. You see the whole thing. I can't go to say, can I go to say weak? Not feeling so good, not as different. You couldn't say no. Yes, I say. I read your message, Kunyano. A book history. I could have to hot bomb. So, one person. You see, it tells you clearly, say, there's a problem in the marriage. There's a wide gap in the marriage. Yeah, you know, once you open up like that, anything just comes in. So, but when it's closely knit together, people don't easily infiltrate into the marriage. Okay. So, one of the effects of marital interference, you know, lack of respect. So now you don't respect each other again. And so after all, Miss Louis, after all, then you see those things. The lack of respect is one of the things. I mean, you know, when it happens like that, there will be a break in communication. If the one of the spouses is more comfortable talking to somebody outside, no one can talk in front of him. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why sometimes couples can stay in the house. We are young kasa. But prefer to be chatting on your phone. If you know they'll be in front of. So if you share not to baby no wonder because the every person in the kasa no your phone so. Baby na phone so the kasa 2 hours. No na phone so. And you see. So when it happens like that, gradually communication breaks in the marriage. And when communication breaks in the marriage, the life of the marriage is taken out of it. And communication is very important in marriage. Very, very important. How you communicate with your spouse. It spices up, brings out the life in the marriage. But when communication is gone, the marriage is dead. You see, when it happens like that, it means the life is going down in the marriage. Gradually, so one of the main effects of marital interference, breaking communication. So Obaa ni say be manage there. They be a do you only a particular person this phone. So into no on the hand of no open baby other. But also bass on the Becassa or better than what you see that thing. So we say gradually, after the intimate hunding comobium, be an uncle, and especially example when one person gets to know, say you are talking to this particular person all the time. Then Kwana, they be a new as soon as in the example. It's any family can know may have him over Casa, obey your baby. Yeah, family. That's still there, the Bayano Bay. And semi few beam, the obey of Humbia, and the obey of Humbia and family. And this is one of the problems, break in communication is one of them. And then normally when it goes on like that, one of the easiest things that can happen is that there will be infidelity. So infidelity is one of the effects of marital interference, infidelity or cheating. So cheating emotionally, cheating physically, cheating financially, emotional cheating. So only be especially somebody of the opposite sex, may a bema or baby or only the video call. No Obaa cancer go at home. You feel say only know you are in a relationship. Sometimes when you video call, you see the person's face. Sakakana mention. To know kakana mention. And all that. All those ones you are cheating. Cheating emotionally. Because you are supposed to be doing that with your wife. Not your supposed friend. So when you do that, you are cheating emotionally. Now, physical cheating is where you go and actually do the do. That's one. Because you only panic gradually, you have the attention of the person. You begin to share emotions together, and you feel attached to each other. After so who can also on your dear any brand new choir back. So that is physical cheating. And there are people who cheat financially. We'll talk about that in due time. Because if you want to my own funny money, and I say, oh, baby, was coming from any kuno. I thought them will be a wabonson. You see. So Annie, Oboni yet mode. I am no cray minimum no pa, but Oboni yet mode. And I saw Boni kunes mode. Sometimes a man cry yana yasem. Nikuno no pista on for money that. But before Bisana, Umumo number near there. It happens. So, our man couldn't who say Uniska, Nilian who Uniska, but no, or no market say about it. So that is part of it. So as a result of marital interference, one of the eminent things that can happen is cheating, infidelity. So realize that every woman on that video, you are too attached to the person outside. So we would open who and and we did some hooper. Yeah. Okay.
Marital interference. At the server. They are very important. They are very. Send me kind a whole strong topic. Now you will read some comments and some suggestions and all that. But before say you better call your messages before say you call your messages you better before 1 or 2 be asset. Then I did according to me, and could done the other because every piano on one near the kind of when I lay yeah, and then it has a people in strong and then yes, for moving some things, then it's some more. We are the was probably a share saying I'm out for a line.
I'm out for super.
I'm out for a line. Baby, just your mammy, the Reverend, and after watching good. That's insurance. You are watching Reverend Evans. I say we have learned so much from this topic. From today's discussion, we have learned that it's very bad to discuss our partner to a third person. That's a third thing. You know, I Papa can yes, yeah. Say and yet say o partner say yeah or you say you cool ever kwa kwa see na
wako supano
wako krono and in Sremo yes Munjai. Reverend Evans, I also think that one of the things we must take note of is the level of maturity of the person before we decide to start a relationship with them. Come to even talk of marriage. The attention part, no dear, is proof. It's true. Some two want too much attention, so the other partner tends to look elsewhere. So all those signs must be watched out for. You know, attention, no.
Attention, dear.
Attention.
Who's a member attention, pal?
Remember.
Yeah, a man no mushu, but a member super attention, pal.
Then your moon show be.
You say. A member attention, pal. You know, if you are deceived to think, say, a member dear who member your attention is not true.
I'll be member being so over no man. Oh, tries to be shown attention, but it's not say. What third party?
You know, I said I'm feeling on Google. Hey, I said more.
Feeling, you know. Yes, and now attention now showing you.
Said and no cremum. Possible. You say you also put in more effort.
The papa effort no put.
Attention na shift you so. It's also putting effort na asamba back. Into the communication break. So that is why we are trying to teach all these things. So the bear could do her. You know, to be of attention. So you pay attention and give him attention. So you pay attention. You know, you should and yet the center. Even say there are people who can be pure grandpa, who be grandpa, no any name be na then we soon any. Self and do it. So you say oh ebia and then me call a juma, maybe you I say and then me cut na maintain. Oh na beka.
Oh, yeah.
There are people like that too. Oh, my own people.
Oh, my own.
Oh, see, and then you person be kwejuma. So do me at na maintain.
Hey,
na beka. It's not. So one time you share the sound or no. The people want attention, especially men, but they
don't show
because men tend to be hardcore in quote hardcore. So it's no person who say that is why you know a lot of men. Obaa ne pa ato on show that on show no mumu no o yes o ja ne pe obi wan akota fit so we need do ani ase Obaa ne pa obi onu ma Obaa no otimi bro ni nyina and just on the no odo ne pa but there are some men who are not matured to that level to understand say and your bro now bro ni financial so don't know. It's no say mentality ni say Obaa de okoko na obesura show. It's no so ye ni high now or so no abre ho asiama. That is what a lot of these young men around or that is the kind of mentality they have. It's your odone pa but was not tiatia no. Obi bi dwom kwampa person obi a hu say ono ye bema. No yes, no dinner come near there. Obaa no so do no nti no nti no chi. Odo be yi.
Wow. All right. It's the master reproduction team. It's the message is BMAKA or more Emma Enka. I have a few ones here. I think Miss Remo. Nyaka no more Mama Minsa Enkana. Yankai and Yeah, my main and I say, Lady Reverend, I say, successful marriage must be seen as two sides of the same coin. Yeah, successful marriage must be seen as two sides of the same coin. When so, if the Reverend Evans, I say, so from today's discussion, we can, hey, and then what's your name of you? By your careful.
Okay, I don't see it. And now next week. I'm here my next week.
Because any omuka
what between you need to credit. Director and pay credit in my
exactly. It's Mr. Next week I'm up for one share below. One share live. Or the cocosia to share ya to cocoa share. Next year, next week join us. Reverend Evans said from today's discussion, we can say that one tool to stop this interference is understanding between the two parties, so that no third person will know if something bad is even happening or not.
Very true.
Yeah, very true, very true. Until say, yemi spouse or you in your kuno no say one say. Na se bibi pia na ye be ye no ye ni say ye ni see a e de ye papa say ne be ba obi o tia bonten ko obi say wa say o ma me ye mfa or how we become for dying as so almost so so go do it's a moment understanding no
this particular point Reverend Evans raising very 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 important part. Say one of the effects of marital interference is that the couples fail to build anything good for themselves. Okay, because there's no way a third party, third influence in the marriage is very strong. So even if person because there be the reason why a lot of people for a lot of productive years they know to me be man is because on kunu and also no me agree on a thing no more year mom because when you koka maybe Obaa no mame there be only be ma dey onye sumi dey theater me so into koye only no koye obesisi maybe even sometimes people will decide say okay let's have a savings account in be a savings account we save in fanye project bi so adamfo bi bebe we debi sure be man na no koye sa dey we Obaa na no koye we Obaa dey onye hu say we di savings say obeku ntam o sa dey Obaya Bentuama 2 years per Ibehuma or Fega Padiano. You see, when it happens like that, now but many so many wine. And yet we will not even come together to do anything for ourselves. Save it to have a project. Even Bemano Ebe Tinyaja to Bano Ebia, Itidi Buano, into Mamifan in Cusco. Maybe through that ebe boy ebusiano. But if there is a third influence or third party, let's say so bad your money could school bebre ya obe sorasho obey hand time baso own taking instruction game. It's part of the reasons why a lot of men no think say I will say Obaa no dey otinefi and say so Obaa ku school and say so we develop Obaa and yes obe sorasho. You see, so because of interference you are not able to build or do anything good for yourself. After a time comes, so it's important say we deal with this kind of interference you're talking about. So it's a good point. Reverend Evans very, very important.
Very, very important point. God bless you so much, Reverend Evans. God bless our viewers, our listeners, and everybody who joined us today God bless you all. Nyankopon inshiramu. Say enei mama nyame adom yede interference in marriage and as interference in a relationship abana wiye. Nyankopon inshiramu papa na me gidi say obia esua bibi. Mesrel mama ye lesson way and this particular topic near my ababesua mama no enye kwa. It is very important for you to know that these things that is happening in my marriage, this thing or two that I'm doing, no, the signs of interference, we are now say, say, now the effect way and a baby M'aware is share, na put a stop to it. If it is you, and a warrior, and I say it is coming from outside, block them, stop it. Na M'aware end because nneɛma yɛ yɛabobɔ so nyinaa no sɛ yɛanhwɛ na sɛ yɛamfa nneɛma antoto neɛ da a nea effect yɛ yɛabobɔ so nyinaa ɛbɛba ne ntintiman afei yɛkaa na anyɛ yie a nea ɛbɛyɛ ara ne sɛ nea fa wokwan sɛ nnipa ne kɔnka wanyɛ no agu ɛsira wagye w'ani so sɛ na asa ɛma awareɛ no ɛmu ɛsira wo ɛfa wo kyɛw mensa ɛda mensa yɛbɔ nti ɛna M'aware aba sɛ yɛbɛsua adeɛ yɛbɛkyerɛkyerɛ na yɛde abɔ yɛ bra na yɛde atutu anammɔn ɛwɔ yɛ awareɛ mu na yɛnya healthy marriage and relationship nti Nyankopɔn nhyira wo sɛ wo join in but before we go the last word
ɛdɛ nyame ase sɛ atiefoɔ ɛtie yɛ na ɔmɛsua bibi nso ɛfiri ɛnɛ discussion yi mu ɛbibi yɛ sɛ sɛdeɛ abobɔ fie ya no if there's any kind of interference anywhere, we all learn to deal with it. I'm being in so bonny be our awareness. I may share it careful now. Amen.
Amen. I may always try in you know. Then we will all know that the interference we will all deal with it. God bless you once again, my production team, everybody. It is a me who did a book. So the last thing that I would say, may the Yako. Emma, a Bafo family, Kenning family, Kodia family, na dear after you could jam. A kid and person can say. And then you could see Miss yeah, I mean, Cecilia Buffo, any Agosu, the Casaname, and Shamudin. I mean, Yamina, you know, while be jad from the giant, the Casanako in Shamina, Yadamina. M'aware juma die esumi. Yɛde juma die no ɛnɛ die no nyinaa aba no yie. Next week join us. Send your media can if you have a topic, you can send it and then we discuss for you. If you have a problem, our counselor, our father, our prophet, our reverend is here. Or the Bible, join us again next week, right here in the Curry Studio with Obaa Kunadu and Rev.
Now, phone